I'm gonna start a bookstore in my garage. Okay, and I'm gonna put it online. People buy online, and I'm gonna ship out of my garage.
How do you think about that? Is Jeff Bezos right, or are you right? And is there going to be a meeting in the middle?
I hope both are right.
They did a fantastic job in America and the world. But they are e-commerce company. We are not e-commerce company. We help others to become e-commerce. We believe every company can be Amazon. It began like a whisper, a subtle shift in how consumers were shopping, what apps they were downloading, how fast they expected things to arrive. It did not make front-page headlines at first. It did not trigger panic inside the boardrooms of Silicon Valley. But by the time the data was undeniable, by the time the numbers were stacked on quarterly earnings reports and flashing in red across the global supply chain, it was already too late. Because as of May 26, 2025, Alibaba, not Amazon, is now defining the future of global e-commerce. Not through marketing hype, not through lobbying, but through cold, undeniable innovation. Alibaba's new one-hour delivery network is now processing over 40 million instant orders every single day. 40 million deliveries every day across hundreds of cities, all from the same app, all backed by the same infrastructure that was once dismissed as niche, regional, experimental. This is no longer China's e-commerce problem. This is Amazon's existential threat. Before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. Because while American companies spent the past year tightening budgets, trimming payrolls, and fighting uphill battles against labor unions and logistics inflation, Alibaba went on offense. It took a decade of food delivery infrastructure, repurposed it, layered on grocery, electronics, and daily essentials, and created an e-commerce juggernaut so fast, so smooth, that 40 million Chinese consumers now expect it by default. In the West, next-day delivery is still considered impressive. In the East, 1 hour is becoming the baseline. And while Amazon's Prime network continues to dominate the US market in scale, its global dominance is no longer guaranteed because Amazon is now operating under siege. From one side, Chinese retail challengers like Temu and Shein are flooding the American market with ultra-cheap goods, capturing more than 17% of the US discount retail space. From the other side, Washington is escalating a trade war that is quietly dismantling the very foundation these platforms once stood on. As of this week, the United States has officially ended the de minimis rule. For years, it allowed overseas retailers to ship packages under $800 to US customers without paying tariffs. That rule gave Chinese sellers on platforms like AliExpress, Tu, and Shein a massive cost advantage. It allowed them to ship direct to doorstep, bypass customs, and sell ultra-cheap goods with almost no regulation. But that loophole is now gone. Every parcel, no matter how small, now faces a minimum 10% duty. And that figure rises quickly, depending on the product category. It is not a crackdown, it is an economic shock. And in retaliation, China has imposed its own set of tariffs, raising import duties on select American goods to as high as 125%. Beijing has also expanded its list of export controls, targeting critical rare earth materials and semiconductors, tightening the screws on American manufacturers who rely on Chinese supply chains for batteries, electronics, and more. This is not the same trade war from 5 years ago. This is round 2, and this time it is digital. Platforms are being weaponized. Retail strategies are now geopolitical decisions, and companies that once operated with global freedom are discovering just how fragile that freedom really was. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button to show your support to the channel. Amazon is not exempt. While many believed the tariff rollback would hurt only the Chinese startups undercutting US sellers, the reality is more complicated. Amazon's own marketplace, its fastest growing revenue stream, is built on a global network of third-party sellers. Tens of thousands of them operate from China. With the de minimis exemption gone, their costs are going up, customs scrutiny is intensifying, shipping times are lengthening, and the result is already visible in Amazon's order pipeline. Prices are rising, margins are shrinking, and customers, those same customers who helped Amazon grow into a trillion-dollar company, are noticing the difference. This week, Amazon quietly launched a new storefront, a direct response discount zone designed to mimic Temu and Shein. The idea is simple: replicate the Chinese model of direct from manufacturer sales. Lower prices, longer shipping, fewer middlemen. But it may be too late because the platforms Amazon is trying to emulate have already embedded themselves into the daily behavior of tens of millions of American shoppers. Temu now outranks Amazon in app downloads. Shein dominates the teen and college-age fashion demographic, and their loyal base is growing, even as tariffs bite. The White House's goal is clear: push Chinese platforms out of the US market through regulation, end their price advantage, force a realignment. But that policy has consequences, and one of those consequences is forcing American companies to fight battles on multiple fronts. Amazon is now caught between a domestic consumer base demanding low prices, a political environment penalizing foreign sourcing, and a wave of Chinese innovation that does not seem to be slowing down despite the tariffs. And while Amazon struggles to hold the line, Alibaba is building around the conflict. Alibaba executives have confirmed that the company will now deprioritize US market expansion. Instead, they are investing in Southeast Asia, with their Lazada platform expanding rapidly in Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia. They are building local delivery ecosystems powered by the same data that fuels Taobao and Lame, and turning those regions into the next front line of retail dominance. Europe is next. Even as Amazon tries to maintain dominance in Western markets, Alibaba is exploiting frustration with high prices, slow shipping, and American tech fatigue to gain traction. The company is quietly preparing to export its instant commerce platform, launching test programs in Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands. If successful, they will not just compete on price, they will compete on time, 1 hour from app to doorstep. And if that sounds impossible, remember it was once impossible to imagine next-day shipping, global warehouses, or AI-driven supply chains until someone built them. Today, that someone is Alibaba. And the man watching from the sidelines, Jeff Bezos, no longer at the helm of day-to-day operations, but still the figure who transformed retail forever. The same man who once said that Amazon's margin was its moat, and who is now watching as that moat is breached. Because margins are collapsing, labor costs are rising, warehouse protests are escalating, and geopolitical constraints are choking the model Bezos once perfected. This is not about failure. Amazon is still one of the most powerful companies on Earth. But its model, its dominance, is no longer guaranteed, and if it loses its price edge, its time advantage, and its seller ecosystem, then the next decade of retail will not belong to America. It will belong to the companies that built faster, cheaper, smarter, and more flexibly. While America was busy writing tariffs and chasing ghosts, the numbers do not lie. Alibaba, 40 million instant orders per day. A new market leadership model in Asia, a strategy built around de-risking US exposure. Amazon caught in the middle, adapting too late, watching as app loyalty erodes and consumers paying more, waiting longer, and wondering what happened to the tech companies they used to trust to deliver everything everywhere, all at once. This is not about nationalism. This is not about politics. This is about business models, trade policy, and the future of speed. Alibaba is not slowing down, and neither is the conflict. Stay sharp, stay informed, because this war is not being fought in boardrooms, it is being fought in shopping carts. And right now, the scoreboard favors the other side, 30%. Still high, but a massive relief compared to recent rates. It's a 90-day window, a fleeting chance for businesses to act. For retailers, it was like a starter pistol. They didn't just see a green light, they saw a yellow one blinking furiously, warning that the window could slam shut. The reaction was instant. Retailers started front-loading inventory like never before, racing to place orders and stuff containers with everything from back-to-school supplies to holiday merchandise and electronics. This wasn't normal demand. It was pent-up panic unleashed by a sudden opportunity. Orders that had been on hold during the tariff spike were now green-lit, produced in mass, and loaded onto ships. But here's the catch. Global shipping isn't Amazon Prime. It takes 3 to 4 weeks for cargo to sail from China to the West Coast and 4 to 6 weeks to hit the East. That means the wave of goods won't crash until late June, apt to come with trade-offs. Some carriers are swapping in bigger ships, which need deeper BS, more cranes, and longer unloading times, straining already stretched ports. Others are speeding up sailing schedules, pushing ships to move faster and turn around quicker, which risks delays in other regions. This isn't sustainable. The supply chain was built to handle pressure gradually, not in sudden bursts. If this surge collides with renewed policy uncertainty, delayed customs, or labour shortages, it won't just slow things down. It could grind the system to a halt. At the heart of this mess isn't tariffs or freight rates, it's uncertainty.